Hey everybody. So I'm back for another review of SWV and Escape, Queens of R&B, the last episode, thank goodness. All right, so before I get started on my review, I hope y'all have had a great Easter weekend. I'm off for Easter Monday today. But I want to send my support, my love, and I'll send money or whatever I have to do. Shout out to Representative Justin Jones, Representative Justin Pearson in Tennessee. I watched Justin Pearson's speech on the House floor, and I watched those white men try to disrespect him, clearly creating rules that were never rules. I saw that protest. Majority of those people protesting gun violence were white. The thing that they are vilifying in Justin Jones and Justin Pearson was the fact that how dare black people be representatives of their communities, elected representatives. And this is why voting is not the only thing. We have to constantly protect our right to vote, our right to have representatives, and why I know this system is racist, okay, and violent and creates its own rules. And Justin Pearson stood there and checked that white man when that white man was talking to him about a temper tantrum, this, that, and the other. I was expecting him to just try to do like a kind of go over it politically on the floor and just say, no, this is what we're trying to do. He did not allow them Pharisee questions to happen. He was like, oh no. Mm-mm. He was like, any of you in this room, would you be okay with being spoken to that way? And I was like, yes, God. For him talking about the way white people have disrespected and mistreated black people for a long time, about white people purposely making rules unclear and only applying them to black people when they want to and systemically, and then to remove them for quote unquote decorum. White people can create rules and all this other stuff, but let me tell you something, them black men have stood in it. They are young and they are really smart. And let me tell you something. I'm not into that just supporting black people because they're black and in power. Because I saw that shit go left with the Obamas. Honestly, and you can think whatever you want to think. I'm not here for them. But black people just being in power and supporting them because they're black, I'm not into it. Because I've seen too many black people sell us out. And they did not. And they were standing in what was right. And let me tell you something. You don't play with God's children. And you certainly don't play with God's children during Holy Week. And that's what they tried to pull. So shout out to Representative Justin Pearson. Once again, y'all look them up, y'all support them, because the bottom line is we are in a very tense racial political moment, and we always are as black people. But let me tell you something, that is no small feat, and that takes real courage, okay, and wherewithal. And Justin Jones, shout out to you, HBCU fan, Fisk University. You stay in there, bruh. All right, and the reason why I try to put that in here, because I know when I do a review, because they're doing the vote today, a lot of y'all don't take interest in politics the same way, so I'm just putting that in here. All right, SWV and Escape, Queens of R&B. So we pick up at the meeting about Rocky getting a kickback from the promoter. Y'all, Tasha and Rocky. Tasha, it's just the lies for me. So a lot of this I am gonna be repeating because Tasha, you just keep giving me the same thing, and I just keep feeling the need to read you. All right. So the promoter sent these text messages basically telling on Rocky. I guess now that the deals fell through, now he's telling about how there was a kickback. Whatever. Tasha, it really looks bad. It looks like your husband is using you, and has been apparently for decades at this point. Um, Tamika was very clear, like it's his number. We about to have a business meeting. They printed this stuff out. Like they weren't making it up, but at some point, when it's business and money, like you don't just allow people just to take things from you. And Tiny was very clear. And Tiny, this is why I don't get why people have been so hard on Tiny over the years. Oh, she's ghetto, she's this and that. And I'm just sitting up here like, Tiny has got to be one of the most reasonable, with the exception of trying to close the show with understanding. Um, One of the most reasonable, calm, collected people I have ever seen, and then consistently be that way on TV. Like, like when even when she does like go off, it's completely out of character. And so I really appreciate. I just want to say that because I feel like her just simply being country or having a dialect, and then people treating her like, oh, that makes her a ghetto baby mom and all this. No, it does not. I think Tiny actually is a very well collected person, very smart person, but she's also emotionally intelligent, and that's why it's not for her to beat up on anybody. That's not even her thing. And I don't think Tamika and Candy were. I'm just saying Tiny was just still trying to be mindful that maybe Tasha's just in a headspace. So Tiny was just like, any money leaving or being made within the group, they need to know about. So Rocky told Tasha, because she calls him on the phone and he's on speaker, he was like, you don't need to say 2 words on my behalf. And Tamika was like, he don't want you to say nothing. That's why you're in a predicament. Tasha was like, I'm not in no predicament. Girl, yes, you are. You are. And I really hope you can let this marriage go. Like, he's a habitual liar and a thief. And Tasha, you're looking like you're part of it. And you are, considering those checks. So I don't see you as innocent. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So Rocky started talking about how we got the same text messages on our phone. Candy was like, exactly. Like, which means you should be able to follow the thread. Okay. Then he was like, I can show y'all my phone and there won't be one text message with Xscape. Rocky, first of all, sir, we know you're not going to let them see your phone. You think because you deleted the text that everybody else will act stupid and believe what you have to say. Stop. I'm just so offended by the way him and Tasha insist on lying. Like the rest of us are stupid. And I don't mean just the Xscape members. I mean us as viewers are stupid. I'm offended by that. Okay, anyway. So Tamika was like, ever since she met Rocky, Tasha changed. And I was like, well, they met when they were young. So, I mean, yeah, I know you knew your sister as a young woman. But nevertheless, I understand what she means. She definitely does seem to change her attitude and her demeanor when Rocky comes around. She's like, it's like she's brainwashed. And he does appear to be some form of an abuser, very controlling and that kind of thing. Now, granted, we only see what we see. Nevertheless, then we get the confessional with these two. By these two, I mean Tasha and Rocky. And he says a kickback's for people who hustle. I don't get kickbacks. I don't have to get kickbacks. And essentially, he doesn't have to hustle. He gets his money straight. Tasha chimes in and says, let me just say, there have been times when one of the four of us have brought a deal to the table and we've gotten an extra percentage because we brought the gig. And I'm sitting up there like, well, that means nothing. Because if we go back to Tiny's original point where Tiny said, if there's any money being made, we all need to know about it. In the case that you're talking about where one of the four of y'all have gotten an extra percentage because you brought the gig to the table, all y'all knew about it. So it's not the same thing. A kickback implies a level of secrecy. Okay? So then Rocky's lying ass jumps in and says, if somebody is paying me, they owe me, which means I'm not stealing. Okay. Shout out to the hometown. Okay. But Rocky, maybe you should go and be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Because I hear the Freedmen's Bureau is making a comeback per my request the other night. To go back and teach people how to talk clearly. And I don't know why I wanted to go in on him when he says stealing. Like, I ain't ever heard people say that over and over again. But something about the way he said it, just the fact that he was lying, I was like, I just want to go in on you. All right, I ain't stealing. Sir. Anyway, so Candy told her that she understands, look, this is your man. I get we need to stick by our man and all this other stuff. But we all need to take a look at what's happening. Tamika gets up, not Tamika. Tasha, I wish they had different names. It's like talking about the Braxton sisters. You get all mixed up. So Tamika gets up and leaves. Natasha gets up and leaves. And she calls her mom and says, everybody else is doing their thing and then my family's falling apart. And I was like, maybe Tasha. Yeah, I can understand where you would get that impression from. But there was already a crack in the foundation. A leak in this old building, okay? This show is just exposing it, honey. You built a house of cards with Elmer's glue. Yes, you did. So it stayed up a little bit longer than you thought, but it was bound to fall. Okay? And sometimes things got to fall apart for you to put them back together right. Okay? Anyway, so Xscape and SWV are going to Ontario for a show. I'm trying to figure out, was that Ontario? It was supposed to be Ontario, Canada, but they only showed them getting out of the airport at LAX. And so I was confused for a minute. I thought they were all going to different shows. But anyway, so Coco's getting ready. Her son asked if she's excited. She was like, hell no. He was just like, to keep your hands to yourself. She was like, I'm going to try because I want to keep my TSA pre-check. She was like, I'm out of medication. Child, trust me. I know that feeling. Okay? And you on edge. Taj is talking to her son about his homework. And she says, I wish y'all could come out to the show. She says, when I run into you in your father's arms at the show, it makes me feel like a rock star. He said, because you are a rock star. And I was just like, y'all know I love Taj. All right, so Tiny's talking to Zanique about the show. Tasha's on her way to the show. Tasha, This is what I meant at the beginning of this review when I said it's going to be a lot of this same stuff. So she's telling Rocky she appreciates his lying, stealing ass, okay? She says she doesn't want to be around negative energy. I told y'all, I said this before. Everybody that says I don't want negative energy and negative vibes are always the people who bring negative energy and negative vibes. Like, it's always those people who are like narcissistic as hell and gaslighting the shit out of you. Anyway, Tasha, stop. S-T-O-P. Stop. You're bringing the energy and the chaos with the lies. Okay? Then to sit in a confessional saying you can't believe Tamika is doing what she is doing on the verge of tears, you get no sympathy from me. You don't, because we've watched you lie to us, which says you think we stupid too. Cut it out. So you are upset with your sister for now being unwilling to back you on your lies, unwilling to back you on defending Rocky, and pretending like you haven't heard her over and over again, i.e. stealing her $30,000 and then lying about it. That's been her role in the family, to be scapegoated, and it's clear to me that that's been her role in the family. And now she's not doing it anymore, and y'all are mad at her and making it seem like she's done something so terrible. And that's the messed up part. It's messed up, and I can see through it. And we've also seen this a million times. We've seen this a million times. The solo female artist who marries her manager, or when she gets married, makes her husband with no real business experience, no degrees, no nothing like that, her manager, and he gets in the way of her success. We've seen this time and time again. And Tasha, quite frankly, you're just another example of it. So Coco says she's worried about the show because they don't even know their transitions, because they're doing the duo thing. All right, like I've said, all 60s, SWV is not the problem. I'm not saying they don't have disagreements. I'm not saying that they can't make mistakes. They clearly have. The difference is SWV understands business, and they're not operating as teenagers anymore. Xscape is so broken. Like, they are still going back to that time as 16 and 17-year-olds and cannot grow out of that space when they come together. And that tells me that y'all don't need to be together. All right? So Tasha is talking about how they have a full day. They rented a house. Oh, okay. But not for the group, by the way. They rented a house with a private chef and everything. Tasha is talking about she doesn't want to get caught up in the noise. Tasha, you have avoided practices, meetings, without calls, without letting the group know. And then you sit on camera like we don't know, and then try to convince us that you are trying to keep the legacy of the group going. Girl, stop. If anything, you have been a hindrance to it. Okay, like, just cut it out. Stop. Just stop, ma'am. Okay, so they only have 8 hours to learn everything the audience is going to see. Like, if y'all weren't bickering over petty shit Xscape, y'all could have been had this down. But Candy and Tiny wanted to be divas, okay? And they are not real divas. Like, why is Tasha even then so insistent on not doing things with the group? Like, was Beyonce doing this on Destiny's Child's last tour? When her and Kelly and Michelle had all put out solo music, the Destiny Fulfilled album, I know because I was at that concert, okay? And was doing different group sets on that tour. I think not. Okay? Because even while they performed as a group, there was like Michelle did her gospel thing. Then they came back together as a group. Kelly came out and did her individual thing. Beyonce came out and did her individual thing. That was after Dangerously in Love. And when Kelly was doing a duet with Nelly and stuff like that. So don't tell me it can't be done. But y'all are so big. And they had greater hits. They were much bigger individually than y'all have ever been. So cut it out. Okay? And the lies are getting worse because the camera is following y'all and y'all are trying to convince us that you are not the problem. Like, Xscape, y'all got some serious problems. All right? So SWV is looking at Xscape as they're, like, performing, and they're pissed. Taj is like, why is their director talking to them like he's paying them? And I thought, that's some shit that would have had me pissed off. Because I would have noticed that whether they were talking to me or not. Like, it don't work like that. So, well, if they are paying that guy who was like, we need to scrap this, honestly, they're paying him to fix their jacked up show. So I can imagine that he's pissed. All right. Like, honestly, Xscape, I feel nothing for them. So Taj was watching Xscape, and she was like, I'm so tired of watching them mess up over and over again. And this has just got me worried. So she was like, I don't know what's going to happen with Xscape, but SWV is going to be on point. And at that point in the game, that's all you can control. Like, if I was SWV, I would not fuck with them ever again. professionally or otherwise, because they can't get it together. This is just tired. Like, they have no idea what they're doing, but they want to headline. But they want to end the show on understanding, and they can't get it together with their 3 million records and their weak ass vocals. And they want all these things, but they don't want to put in the work. Like, I cannot. Okay? And Candy, yes, every time you come in, that shit sounds bad. Period. Period. Get mad. Get mad. I don't care. Then Candy asked if they were gonna all be on stage together at some point. So Taj was like, hell, I guess, but we've only gotten through the first. Taj was over it, okay? So then Candy and them insist on Living in Vain, the gospel song by the Clark Sisters. Why does Candy insist on reaching for notes? Candy cannot sing. I don't care. I don't care. She can't sing. SWV was like, I'm over it. Fine. I'll go out there, except for Coco. Coco was like, I ain't bowing down to these bitches again. Yes, Coco, you made yourself clear before. And Coco was like, look, we don't do church in our sets. And honestly, I can respect that. You want the R&B concert to be the R&B concert? I totally get that. Okay? And the way Xscape is acting, I'm gonna need y'all to really take time, take them words, and embrace them. Okay? Anyway, so I don't understand why Candy and them, like, even insisted on the whole group being on stage for that particular song. And they're so extra. They're so extra without coordination, without the vocals. Like, what is going on? Like, Tasha is not the only crazy one. Let me just be clear. All y'all are delusional on some level. Okay, so then Taj was talking about how to set up the song, and Don Juan goes, that's corny. Taj goes, who is ordering us around? Who said that's corny? Like, she's... And somebody said Don Juan, and see, Don Juan was a bitch. Don Juan didn't say me. Okay, she told him, she was like, well, shut the fuck up. She was like, I'm trying to make this cohesive. I was like, oh shit. And Coco turned around and said, see, y'all thought it was me, right? Y'all see who it is. And her and Lily was back there laughing, and because the calm one has now lost it. And Don Juan, I'm so sick of his shit. Every time he come on camera, it's some bullshit. Him and Candy stay on bullshit. Anyway, so they do the show, okay? We finally get there. Tasha's walking around with an entourage. Just cut it. Cut it. And why are you paying all these people to be in an entourage? Y'all already owe your sister $30,000. So Tamika and Tasha, the show goes well. The crowd goes crazy over week. Honestly, when they switched to Coco's confessional, and Coco was like, see, they should have let us go last. Honestly, they should have. Because let me tell you something. When somebody has a hit like that and then you got to go on after them, Xscape, y'all need to bring it down. Y'all need to bring it down a few notches, okay? So after the show, Tamika and Tasha talk. Tamika tries to talk to Tasha. Tamika says, I want to talk. And she was like, it ain't time to talk. It ain't time to talk. And I'm like, girl, stop. Like, then she said, if we go home, we're not going to talk. So let's just do it now. And Tasha says, I don't have time for the negativity and negative energy. We're family. But Tasha, you're the negative one. So Tamika was like, well, look, it doesn't feel like we're family. She was like, oh, it doesn't? And I'm like, what? Like, Tasha, I don't even understand how you can, like, coordinate this in your head. And Tamika was like, no. She was like, you walk past me, you don't speak. Your team walks completely past me and does not speak or acknowledge me. And that is hurtful. And you know it's purposeful. They're doing what she pays them to do. And Tasha's just sitting there like, wow, really? Really? I was like, bitch, yes. You are a terrible liar. And then you keep lying the same way. Everybody has come at you. And when I say come at you, Candy, Tiny, and Tamika, when you are lying or Rocky is lying, they have come at you with clear, hard, and fast examples of whatever it is that you have done. You're just like, really? Really? I don't believe that. Really? Like, y'all are so full of shit. Okay? So, Tasha just asked me, well, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? She said, I want you to be you. She says, this is me. She was like, this is you? It's clearly not you. It's clearly who Rocky wants you to be. And it's obvious, Tasha. Then we get Tasha's confessional. She was like, just say, I give Rocky more attention than you. I don't like when Rocky takes you away from my attention. Just say that. First of all, that's what gives me the abusive tease, because that's what abusers try to convince people of. Okay, that their family is jealous of them so they can get them closer to you, so they can use you, abuse you, mistreat you, and by the time they isolate you from your family, you don't have nobody. And your friends, you won't have nobody. That's the game. Now, I'm not saying I don't know what's going on in his house. I'm just saying that's what gives me the vibe. Okay? And it's not a good look, and it's not healthy, and it's not coming off as good promo or press, and I just don't like it. And additionally, Tasha, I could rock with that if y'all were 20, 22, 23. Y'all are grown. You and Rocky have been married over 20 years. So you know good and damn well it ain't about your sister not getting attention from you. It ain't like y'all just got married and then that rocked the relationship. Stop it. Your husband stole and so did you. And your mama knows it. That's why she did that. Oh, well, you don't know what they needed. So Tamika tried to communicate the best she could. I'm sorry, Tamika. Because it's hard for me to see how hurt you are. And I know your family has hurt you. So, but on the flip side, why was Tiny like me? Like, she was avoiding the conflict. Like, she wasn't engaging in it. But it was almost like since she walked past the door and she heard them yelling, she couldn't help it. And it's like, since I saw it and I can't help but hear, I am going to watch how this goes down. Tamika's really hurt, and that's the hard part. And she believes in being family. And you can tell they were taught that. But I've learned that it's one-sided, oftentimes in families. When that comes, one of them believes it, and the others choose to go against it. So I could tell Tamika was hurt. And I knew that I don't care, whatever. She can go on. I ain't gonna beg nobody to be my sister. I knew that was bullshit, because I knew Tamika did care, and that's why she started crying. Because I've done that 1,000 times, and I am really sorry that Tasha is treating her that way, because Tasha, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret it, and Rocky is trash. But shout out to SWV. They went from gold to platinum with a lot of their singles. Week has gone triple platinum. Week alone, not the albums, okay? Meanwhile, Xscape. This is my point. People not buying y'all's music. They're watching y'all for entertainment. SWV has a summer tour with Jodeci. I said, yes, I didn't know that. I got to look that up and see them tickets. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. I hope y'all have a great week. See you soon. Bye-bye.